No.
Oh, that's it. That ruined it. That ruined it. All right, let's go ahead and do a show. Welcome to National Roundtable, episode 340. My name is Ben Bumhofer. It is Friday night. It's time to get down and talk about some WoW. And with me this week, as always, is John Jagger. How's it going, John?
Hi, Ben. It's Friday night.
It is.
We're here.
We are.
In Azeroth.
Yes, at the table.
The round table. Yep. Nailed it. Hey, Ben, we're not alone tonight.
Oh no.
Nope. It's not a just the two of us episode. We've brought in our good buddy Tetsemi to talk about the World of Warcraft. Welcome back to the round table, Tetsemi.
Welcome,
Hey
Ted.
guys, how are you doing?
Well, I think we covered that in the pre-show. We're not sure how to answer that, but we're alive and we're here.
Yay!
Azeroth
Beats the
round table.
alternative.
We showed up.
That's a good, that's a good new tagline.
Yep.
I like that.
I like it.
Yeah, but
Could
oh
be a
my
ship
gosh.
title.
So, okay, we as usual, we had zero prep in this episode, like completely zero. In fact, we even had less than normal because John and I did not have our dinner date tonight.
It's true.
So we are going into this with me hosting it, saying, "Hey guys, I've been playing my warrior a lot lately, and I've been leveling it, and it's a lot of fun."
Hey, warriors are great, Ben. That's a smart call. That's a quality call. Actually, here's on that same topic. I've been like wanting to play a new character, and I've been having a hard time not making a warrior. In fact, the problem is that I want too many warriors. I already have one, and I was like,
But you want a new one.
I was like, well, I really need to make one of these new Worgans.
Mhm.
And we've already established that a war is the best war you can do.
Yes.
So I was thinking that. But then I thought, man, but if I get this character, and this is some lofty goals here, I was like, but wait a minute, if I fully level this war all the way up, all the way, and then I rep them up, then I'm going to unlock Coltirans. What class do I want as a Coltiran? And then I thought Druid, and I was like, yeah, Druid's cool, but what if it was a warrior instead? And I was like, that seems great. That seems like a cool idea. If you're going to be a big, thick human, you should be a big, thick warrior human. That sounds cool. And then I thought, maybe I'll do that. That's neat. And then I thought, well, wait a minute. You know what? I also really need to keep working on these heritage armors. And there's these Twilight elves. What are they called? I can't
Void
remember.
elves,
No, not them. The
Nightborn.
The Horde ones.
Nightborns.
Nightborns. I was like, those are cool. We should make one of those. But they're like so obviously designed to be casters because they're all about mana and stuff. But you know what? They're based on night elves, and night elf warriors look cool.
Yes,
they look
do.
really cool. And I was like, well, you know what? It's kind of a waste to put a freaking caster on this thing when I could be a warrior and I could look really awesome. So I was like, all right, well, maybe I'll have a Nightborn warrior. That seems like the way to go. Anyway, there's
So
like
I've been playing my Pandaren warrior. Did you actually ultimately decide what you're going to level?
no.
No.
I ended up making a Worgen warlock, which technically is also a war.
Okay.
And then I also, well, I don't have Coltirans unlocked. That didn't happen over this week. Oh, chat room says a Warglock. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
I like that
it.
better, and then we avoid the war confusion.
Yes.
So, did I make a Twilight elf?
Nightborn.
Yeah, Twilight elf would sparkle, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe.
They got the
I mean-
sparkly tattoo when the light
Yeah,
gets
that's
them.
true.
That's the one thing I don't like about the heritage armor is that it covers too much of their tattoos. Because I have a I leveled the Nightborn up. I did a Nightborn mage, and
Me
because mana,
too.
and I put on the full heritage armor and went, yeah, those shoulders are from the 80s. They need to go. That's blocking the leg tattoo. That's got to go. Like, so now I'm in search of pants that look good with the skin tone, but don't cover up the leg tattoos too much. I'm like, eh.
Well, okay, so the biggest, I mean, since we're talking Nightborn heritage armor, the biggest issue I have is I think it's the chest piece puts that little like metal chin guard on, or is that the headpiece? I forget.
That's the
One of them does.
headpiece. The headpiece.
It looked. I'm like, I don't need a chin extension made of metal. It's like, who uses one of those? Is
It's
it?
a chin strap
Yeah. Why? What use is that? Like, does
because they're tired of warriors pummeling them to make them not cast spells.
but that would hurt more.
Well,
You
no, it
have
goes
a
with
metal
the, it
thing
goes
right
with the
here
mouth
because-
guard.
Haven't you ever had a cold chin?
No. Do you think I've had a cold chin?
Oh, that's a good point. But you didn't
mean,
have a
Ben,
beard
think of a
forever,
football
did
helmet.
you? Did you?
What was that, John?
Did you always have a beard?
Yeah.
You
I was
can't-
born with one.
Oh.
Thought you knew that.
I mean, it could be assumed, but I didn't realize it, I guess.
No, in all honesty, when I was younger and didn't have facial hair, I don't remember my chin getting cold.
Yeah, if it got
nose,
really
but-
cold, like it would just get cold down here, and you could always tell because you could kind of feel it in your teeth too, and you'd like scratch your chin. None of that?
No.
Nope, I'm the
No.
only one? Cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, by the time I moved up to Flagstaff, where it is actually cold, I did have facial hair then. So maybe it's just because I grew up in Phoenix, where I mean, the coldest it got was like maybe 30.
Yeah, it's gotta be really cold for your chin to get cold.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
probably it then.
I can't be alone on this. People who live in cold areas, your chin gets cold, right?
I
Like,
think
I'm
all
not
of you
saying
would
it's
get
the
cold.
coldest part of your body, but I'm saying, like, cold chin is a thing you get.
Yes, and if you are experiencing cold chin for more than 4 hours, consult a doctor.
Just
See the pre-show.
just take as much Advil as you need for it to warm up.
No,
No,
don't do
John.
that.
No,
Don't
John.
do that.
But-
Man, okay.
Okay,
Ben,
well, chat room
so-
is about 50-50 on the cold chin thing.
That's good. You know what, John? Your chin can get as cold as it needs to. I guess that's why now they have those woolen dwarf hats, or the quilted dwarf hats that have the beard along to go, to go
Oh,
with
there
it.
you go. To keep your
Yeah.
chin warm.
Okay, I just
Which-
want to give our cold feedback because this is pretty good. I asked if your chin could get cold. Here's been the responses so far. They're all good. No. And I live in Canada. Yes, you can get a cold chin. Thank you. 1% body heat leaves through your chin. Well, I missed that 1%. That 1%'s noticeable and it made my chin itch. Chin gets cold, sure, but the cheeks are so much worse you don't really notice the chin. Not if I'm like this. Sure, after your nose and ears, yeah, but I had earmuffs, and I don't know, my nose was fine.
Did you have a nose muff?
Yeah, I had. Don't Google it; it's just terrifying.
I
Experience.
don't even know what that is. So yeah, don't.
No, there's like a nose warmer thing out there. It's terrifying. It looks bad. You should Google it though. Experience in Canada is that by the time your chin is cold, you are much more worried about other things. I don't know. I was pretty worried
So,
about
John,
the chin.
maybe that's why they have scarves, to keep your neck and chin warm.
Yeah, I think so.
There you go.
Yeah.
So okay, if Blizzard actually introduces a new race, like let's say next expansion for some reason we go back to Northrend and they put in a new race, should they have like specific cold weather gear again as that heritage armor for that race, like total scarves instead of capes and stuff, and like woolly hats and everything?
I'm ready
Well, yeah,
for
'cause-
cool anime scarves.
Oh, there you go. Or a cape like Doctor Strange has, where it just flies up and does stuff.
Oh, that'd be great.
I
That's
will
your mount.
say,
You could fly with it.
there you go. It just trails behind you. I did get my Tauren heritage armor this week, and theirs is very warm weather, for lack of a better term. There's this very Plains of Mulgore-esque.
I would
So
hope
yeah,
so.
I totally could see, like if they did what were the Tonka?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If they did an alternate Tauren race and they did the Tonka, then they could do the cold weather with the huge capes and the scarf and the furs and that sort of stuff.
I just see them wearing earmuffs and sweaters and like scarves and stuff, like just totally decked out for wintertime. Just like, casual, like, hey, I'm gonna go play in the snow kind of gear.
But see, if you put that on a panda, wouldn't they just like double in size and you just have a ball
Oh, that'd be so cute
and then you could
though.
just roll them around?
I'd be fine with that.
Well, you're a monk, you roll anyway.
Yeah, exactly. But oh, Meg. Okay, so have either of you done the virtual ticket yet?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
The
I gotta
woolies
say,
look awesome.
the woolly like abominable snowman yeti costume that you get is so freaking cute. If you have your graphics up well enough, it looks super fuzzy too, and it's awesome. I've got my monk set up in it. I changed the feet though, just because it looked a little weird on her, but yeah, it's great.
Oh, so it really is piecemeal. You can go piece
It
by
is,
piece.
yes.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
they didn't include it as a transmog effect. It's actual pieces of armor saved as a set in the transmog window. So you can do the whole thing and then you can just say, well, I don't like like Ben said, I don't like the feet, or I don't like the headpiece or whatever.
I like that. I like that a lot better.
Yeah.
I want to see Blizzard continue to do that because that's neat, because sometimes you don't know how these things are going to interact. Like one of the
Right.
coolest things, my favorite transmog, or one of my favorite transmogs that I had from this expansion, was because of a weird interaction between the Blood Elf heritage armor and tabards. Like, it makes a really amazing look to combine that armor with a tabard, and because the tabard goes behind a piece of the armor instead of over
Right.
it.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's just like giving people the option to mess around with that stuff and actually kind of play with it and see what's going to happen, is really, really neat. And so that's exciting. I hope they do more stuff like that.
I just really wish that my Pandaren with very long hair and chopsticks and stuff, when she puts on certain hats, her hair didn't disappear.
Here.
So it looks like
Yeah.
like I get that you can put hair up in a hat and everything like that, but it looks a little weird when I put on the Robin Hood hat and there's absolutely no hair coming out. I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh.
It's a
I
hat of
thought it would
holding.
look really cool in this, but never mind. Okay.
Games that can manage, like, letting your character continue to have hair while wearing certain hats is still to this day one of the most impressive pieces of tech that
Yeah.
a game can have.
Oh, definitely.
And it's like, when you get down to it, it's not that impressive. It's like they design a couple of like in between hairstyles that it just defaults to if that, if a helmet's on. But like every single time I see it, it happens. I think Final Fantasy's like that, where I'll put on like a helmet or something like that, and my character still has little, bits of hair that's visible, but all the stuff that should be sticking out through the top is gone. And I'm like, how did they do it? How did they know?
Yeah.
It can't be done.
Sorry, I just got a tweet from Leo Wild.
Leo Wild.
Oh my gosh, it is adorable. Leo put the Wendigo costume on the WoW head dressing room on a Vulpera. It is so freaking adorable. Oh, I really hope that we get them as playable race.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
How many
Oh,
of
man.
your characters become Vulpera if it becomes playable?
Immediately one.
Okay. Which one?
My priest.
Assuming they can be priests.
Assuming they can be
Assuming
priest.
priests,
My priest. I'm really tempted to turn my rogue into one though, but I
Oh,
really
that would
like
be
my
fun.
rogue because my rogue is like, I've got her decked out pretty well. She looks pretty awesome. I even like the name. Her name's Snow Petal. She's a Pandaren rogue. She's awesome. She's got an eye patch.
But rogue
'Cause
for
she's a rogue.
Vulpera is pretty good. In fact,
It
I can
is.
guarantee that they can be rogues. Like if you say, okay, what's the given race of any, or given class of any particular race, I would say Vulpera, absolutely rogue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they would be rogues, warriors, maybe hunters.
Yeah,
Oh,
hunters,
Vulpera with a
hunters
fox
have a
head?
tendency to be pretty universal. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the
I
casters
think they
would be
could be
the
most things. Like you're probably not going to see druids,
Or Death
but
Knights.
or
I don't know,
warlocks.
maybe you see Death Knights, Death Knight full.
Yeah, I don't see them as warlocks, but I mean,
No.
heck, who knows? Warlocks are everybody, pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I love the idea of all these different pieces and everything coming together for transmog and really letting us play around with it, like John, like you were saying. One thing that I wish though was that some of the older capes were just upres just a little bit more, because I mean there are some really cool colors and patterns and everything on them, but like when you put it together with even I don't know a couple expansions ago armor and stuff, it looks slightly out of place that it bugs me enough where I'm like, okay, I can't use that. So like usually when I'm going back, I go back like maybe 2 or 3 tabs in my appearances and then just kind of stop right there.
Yeah.
It's either that or just go no cape,
Yeah.
which is kind of a bummer.
Well, what's interesting is that Traveler's Backpack that's supposed to be coming out for the Recruiter Friend, I think that takes your cape slot, if I'm not
okay
mistaken.
with that.
Yeah. So if they're willing to use the cape slot and maybe the shirt slot for more things like that, I think that's a good direction to move, because I'd really like to see, like Tet right now has no helmet, has his shoulders, but he has the from Northrend Dalaran the bandage shirt that you got. So he has no chest armor, but he just has the bandage shirt around, and then it shows up on his arm, so it just looks like he's walking wounded on the battlefield.
And there's a reason why the healers are like, come on, you're taking too much damage.
Right. But he looks really cool, and I tried that on a couple of the other races. It works well on my Blood Elf Rogue. She looks good with that style look, but like my Taurens don't look good with it at all. The Pandaren don't look good with it at all. So yeah, it
looks weird with the fur.
It does. So I think I'm hoping, like you said, with this Wendigo, that it's the first like kind of trial. Do people like this style of you get a set, you can wear it as a set, or you can just hide individual pieces or change out individual pieces? If they're gonna go, double down and go on that, I hope they do that for 9.0.
Well, like I can see doing an entire set, like again, like let's say we go to a cold climate or something like that, because that's one of the neat things about all the different expansions is that the armor sets and stuff were designed for where they were. So when we were in Northrend, it was kind of colder stuff. Like if you look at the Zandalar, it's very trollish. If you look at the Coltiran stuff, very navally and everything. I like the idea of the next place we go just having a full armor set on, but then having this Wendigo hood. Just it's like, yeah, I got my armor on and everything like that, but I'm gonna keep my head nice and cozy with this thing here, and like have that be just the only thing.
I will tell you this, since we're on the transmog. Can I do a small, just very tiny raid rant about transmog?
Sure.
Yes.
I miss class specific armor sets.
Oh yeah.
Because I have like the full plate set from Battle for Dazar'alor. I picked up the one for Eternal Palace, and it's like you put it on the Paladin or you put it on the Death Knight, and it's like, okay, it's the same armor set. So now I've got 3 plate wears and no variety if I wear that same, the same set. Whereas, I want the warrior version of the Eternal Palace, or I want I want to see what a rogue in the Eternal Palace set would look like with, like leather Naga scale armor, that type stuff. So I really hope that this was just a one-off and that they go back to class specific armor sets as opposed to armor type sets.
I mean,
that are themed on the raid.
I pretty much agree with you, although I mean I would just say I kind of hope they go back to class based anything. Like I just feel like there's a lot of strength when this game leans into class fantasy and leans into letting you experience your class. I think this expansion's experiment with making you feel faction pride has been interesting.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know if it's
Especially splinters of a faction.
I don't
Yeah.
know if it's succeeded. To each their own. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't.
We know there are plenty of people out there who are very full of faction pride right now. and
The
we are happy for
the
them.
problem is I just kind of broke myself saying that. Like I just I like
Yeah.
literally just did just did a little like twitch. It was just like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
in my own world. I'm lost because I guess I hadn't really thought about it since we talked about it going into the expansion, which was, oh, they want to do a faction focused expansion, really focus on that faction fantasy, and then I was like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
no, they didn't.
No, and it's such a hard shift from Legion, where everything was so class focused, and then you swing the pendulum, almost 180 degrees the other direction. And I will admit, I've got four. Yeah, I've only got 4 characters to 120. One on the Alliance side, so I could see the whole war campaign on the Alliance side. And then a loyalist, a traitor, and one that kind of waffled in between based on their choices. So, but I sat down, John, to, like you said, to level another character, and went, no. No. I mean, I could level them through islands. No. I could do the story again. No. There wasn't a drive for this expansion, and I'm trying to keep it upbeat. I really am, guys. Sorry.
You're fine.
There wasn't a drive to level another character to see an aspect of the story I hadn't seen yet, because you're almost compelled to finish the 3 zones. So it wasn't like, well, I can level in this zone and skip these 2 and do them on another character. It was, no, you had to do all 3 zones to advance the storyline. So there wasn't a lot of opportunity for not repeating it. And I think, based on some discussions we've had in Raid, I think that was almost intentional, that they just wanted you to focus in on one character and really maximize the experience for that character through this expansion. And I don't know that that's a good choice, but
I can definitely see that, because so I have 2 120s. So I've got my main, which is my horde monk. I almost said mage. What's wrong with me? And then I have my
I know
Alliance
exactly
monk.
what's wrong with you. Anyway,
But I'm leveling my warriors, not my mage. So what's up with that? Anyways, but well, first of all, I dropped 50,000 gold to upgrade heirlooms. Then I put them on and everything. I'm like, oh wait, Azurite gear.
yeah,
Frack. So there's 15 or 30,000 gold that I didn't really need to drop, because it's going to be better anyway. But so, I'm going through and everything, and I have every single class at 110 because of Legion.
yes,
I
same.
took the time and effort to do that. And now I'm just like, okay, I finally am having some time to level and alt and everything. And since we're not focusing hardcore on raiding at the moment, because, we're waiting for whatever's coming next before we really jump in again, because burnout's a thing that happens. And so I'm just like, okay, we're gonna go with something else entirely. And I'm like, okay, I'm not reading quest text. I'm barely paying attention to what I'm doing, except I am kicking so much butt as my warrior and having so much fun, and I am killing things so much faster than I ever did on my monk. And I'm like, that's right, DPS. Okay, this is what this does.
Wait until you hit about 116, and then
It's funny, because I was looking at the legendaries that I have on her, and because I played her to get through the story, and
Right.
that's mostly it. I mean, I don't think I have like the best in slot legendaries, and the effects on them aren't really huge. So I don't think it's gonna matter too much. I mean, I'm at like 114.
It'll matter at 120.
It'll matter. It'll matter around 115 or 116, because, like you said, Ben, I had my rogue and my druid that I did the same thing with, and as soon as they hit 116, it just went. I went, oh god, this hurts a lot.
Yeah, like this is going to be a weird thing to say, but I'm looking forward to that so I can see what everybody was complaining about over a year ago.
Yeah.
Because when I was on my monk, it's like, oh, I'm just healing myself through stuff like I've been doing this entire time. So it was no difference. But I mean, if it really is that big of a difference, I mean, once those legendaries drop off, I will definitely talk about that. But
Yeah.
another thing too is that once I do hit 120, I've got a full set of benthic gear already just to
Right.
throw on.
Exactly. You go right to
So-
385 and you're good.
Yeah, that'll help.
Yeah.
That'll definitely help. I
Although
think
my weapons will still suck.
my weapons still suck too. It's really bad.
Yeah.
I finally got a stupid giant crab claw to fall off a world boss, and I was like, all right, well, I'm 50% of the way there now. But
Was that the 415 or the 400?
the 415.
Nice.
Hey.
Yeah, I was like, oh, thank goodness it happened. And then I looked and I was like, it's not unique equipped, right? It isn't. There's a chance I could do it
We
again.
could get another one.
Yeah. So
And then your rogue's doing claws.
yeah, no, I have swords.
I know.
Oh, what, you a
because-
transmog out of big giant claws?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Wow.
It's a case of like, I just want to look at Blizzard and go, you don't even get me. Like, it's like the maddest I've ever been, but in like, just like the way you get mad at somebody you care about kind of way.
Right.
It's like, you
Like
just
you and
don't,
me every week.
it's just like, you don't understand me at all. Because I feel like in their minds, Blizzard, this was their logic. They went, well, let's look at what we gave them. They spent all of Legion with swords. So whatever we do, no swords. There'll be a few, but pretty much no swords. And so, like, as we were going through, they're like, here's a shitty fist weapon. Here's a stupid mace. Here's an axe. And I'm just sitting there like, why are you giving me this shit? Like, what are you doing? In what universe do you think I want this? And they look dumb. And the fist weapons look dumb. And you know what? I don't think many people even like fist weapons. I don't mean
The
to
only one I
speak
like-
for all the monks, but I have a feeling that most monks just transmog it into either something real simple and basic like shredder claws, or they go to like if there's a bandages or nothing. Like that.
The only fist weapon that I've ever transmogged into is the Alar Phoenix claws. 'Cause they
Yeah.
look really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even then, you never see them when you're fighting because as a monk, you don't pull your weapons out.
Right. That's the problem is they don't show on monks. With John, with my rogue now, with my rogue, I have two cutlasses, with the big basket hilts on for her for swords. But like with Tet, I don't care the number of weapons and shields that have dropped. I still have not transmogged out of my Legion Mage Tower appearance because I worked so hard for it and it's a unique appearance. And it's like, sorry, that's what I'm wearing.
I only
I'm surprised
just
they haven't put any
did.
more flails in.
I did mostly my artifact weapons continuing forward because they just nailed it. They nailed
Yeah.
a lot of things last expansion, and my weapons were one of them.
Yeah.
So it's been a
Some
lot
might
of
say
that.
They've spent a lot of time on the weapons that last expansion.
Yeah, weird. As opposed to this one where they forgot weapons might be something you need. This one, I have switched a lot to the Phantom Blades, which have been around since forever.
Right.
But it's one of the few swords you wear on your back, which is cool. I wish it was an option that they gave you with more weapons. Like, hey, you want to wear this on your back? Yes, I do. I like
wanna
that.
look like Deadpool.
I like that I wear them on my back, and Phantom Blades look really cool when you apply a spell effect to your weapon.
Cool.
You can basically make them look like little lightsabers. So I was like,
nice.
well, those are really neat. I like the way that looks. So I've been doing that, but yeah, I mean, I will say this. Part of the reason why it's just that kind of petty anger of you don't get me and not a bigger deal is because you can transmog out of it. They can give
Right.
you whatever weapons. Who cares,
Yeah.
really? But there is a part
I
of
had a
you
fish for a while on
that,
my monk.
like, when you get a new weapon in the game, you're like, yeah! And just every single time this expansion has just been, what?
Yeah.
I,
But
you
I
know what?
think part of it is when they do swords, John, it's always the warrior version of a sword and not the finesse version of a sword. It's like, I understand you want this big blocky hunk of metal or stone that you're gonna, basically club someone to death with, with a sharp edge on it. Where's the, I don't necessarily want to have to transmog to a dagger to get a finesse weapon. So where's the finesse weapon sword?
Yeah. The
Mhm.
mage
No.
tower. That's where it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say though, I do wish that offhand stuff looked cooler. There's a lot of nifty things, but like let's say I hypothetically you're a healing monk and you have a sword or a mace or something like that, then my offhand isn't anything that could be a sword or a mace or anything like that. It's only an offhand, so it's like I'm gonna stab you and block you with my book, or like I have this monkey paw and a sword.
Do you have not that it helps, but do you have the lantern?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've got a few different lanterns actually.
Right.
I've also got a torch. I have a stick of dynamite. Like I said, multiple books. Things that look like a big giant lollipop. Tons of different things. And for the most part, it's like okay. I think right now I might be transmogged with like one of the fans from Pandaria because I'm
Right.
like,
Those
why
were cool.
not? Yeah. I'm
I
putting
wanna
a
know
link in
warrior
my.
monk, or a panda monk that used the fan as a shield.
That'd be cool. Anyways, I'm putting a link really quick into the chat of my warrior and the transmog I have, and I like the swords that she's got, and I'm trying to remember if it's actually from Pandaria or if it's from actually this expansion. But they're like kind of actually smallish, not exactly finesse, not exactly full blown like huge warrior stuff.
Those are Zandalari blades.
Okay.
Hey, look
There
at
was a
that.
set.
Swords from this expansion that look good.
Yeah, there was a set. There's a set like that from Pandaria, but those are. I would swear that those are from. No, it's Jinyu transmog to Jinyu Greatsword. Those are
Oh.
Pandaren.
Ah, look at that. I
That
feel
would be
like I'm
why.
not a liar anymore. I'm putting a link to my character in the chat because why not?
He was a
Because
kid.
if we're going to show off characters, we might as well all show off our characters on this
Yeah.
audio podcast.
Oh, those swords. Okay.
Yeah, you can't see it in the armoring because they don't light up because they're not going to show the spell effect. But basically, they all glow, and that blue blade in the middle becomes solid white with an effect. So it looks really neat.
That's a nice Whisperfen chopper you got there in your offhand.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Stupid
Oh man, that's just sad.
freaking weapons. Oh my gosh. The Merciless Pincher is cool eye level, but looks dumb as hell. And then a 385 offhand because I haven't found anything better. Ugh. It's disgusting. I hate it.
It could be worse. Could be a lot worse, actually. You could be dual wielding fish.
Does the fish have a high eye level? Because I'll take the fish if it's got a high eye level.
It's 385 if I remember correctly, and it's intelligence based.
Then
Hey, John?
yep, I'm good. Yes.
What's weird is my rogue has spell effects on her blade, and they do show up in the armory, which is weird.
What's up with that?
Special treatment.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm dual wielding Admiral Taylor's cutlasses.
Oh yeah.
We live
What
in
do you
a
know?
world.
They are very glowy.
You know what? I love that we live in a world where everybody now in the chat room is just linking their armory and their character. This is great. I love it.
Yeah.
I like that Voron. Yep, and there he is. He stole part of his transmog idea from me. I like it. It's a great look.
Unless
Yeah,
you're a Tauren or a Pandaren.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, this is one of the neat things about transmog is that, like, okay, it still surprises me that when it was first put in the game, the devs were like, "Oh, we had no idea it was going to be as big as it was," and here we are, like many expansions later, and we still have favorite sets that are just kind of like go to, like, oh, that just feels good, sets that we'll just put on every now and then. But then every time something new comes in, you're able to just completely throw something together out of who knows what, whether it matches or it doesn't. I mean, yes, we've seen some clown people out there, but I mean, just the idea that you can make some really awesome sets like that look like they were created to fully be together, but they're from cross expansions, is really a testament to just how creative the art team can be, and the fact that they can have an underlying theme. And this goes right back to kind of what Tet was saying about how, you know, having the specific class sets, you know, from raids or from wherever, is something that's I also agree is kind of missing in the game. It's a little bit of a bummer to, you know, go through, say, leveling a character, getting all of the leather looks and everything, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, I might as well just transmog into the one I like the best, and then that's what I'm going to be for the rest of the expansion until, you know, something new comes along. You know, there's no chance of getting something else.
Yeah.
I will say, Ben, I went to actually look at your neck level on your healer, and she's not wearing a lot.
My guess is that's probably because the Wendigo isn't in the webpage
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
Oh my. Let's see what she looks like right now.
Wait a minute. What are we looking at?
Oh, my monk is just pretty much naked right now.
Yeah.
So apparently there's a way on the WoW website to actually transmog nothing for your pants.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, didn't mean to do that. Oh well, nothing
Oh, well.
I can really do.
What are you gonna do?
Hey, she looks adorable in game though, I will tell you that.
Oh yeah, no, in the but I was just like, wow.
Wait, where's the
Oh,
link? I
everybody
want to see. I
froze.
want to
This
see
is
it.
Good. There they are.
I just put it in Discord chat.
Put it in Azeroth Roundtable chat.
Alright.
Yeah. If he clicks in Discord chat, it messes up the video.
Oh, okay. I just didn't know if Ben wanted it in there or not.
That's
so-
fine.
All right.
I'm
There
glad
we go.
we've reached the part of the show where we just look at things and react.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay,
Those at home.
so no, I have
Ben's just got a naked freaking monk standing around.
Hey guys.
John, I'm curious because I know you've been playing a bit, but what have you been doing to keep up with your necklace? Because you're almost at 65 to unlock the other minor
He is
power.
higher than me.
Yeah, thanks for that question, Tet. That's a real good question. I'm really good at World of Warcraft.
All right, there we go.
That's
really
it. Sorry,
good.
guys. That's all we get.
That's my secret, is that I will take months off and just be really, really good at the game. No, so I don't know exactly. I have been very diligent about well, first of all, when I was playing in the early days, I was very seriously playing early on in this expansion. I was running Mythic Dungeons.
Yeah.
I was doing that. Now that only got me so far. I didn't ever cap. There was no point where I capped in this
Yeah,
expansion.
you're up to like 36 or something before you kind of took a break.
Right. So there wasn't ever a point where I fell super far, where I had to stop or anything like that.
Right.
But I also I wasn't coming from nothing. But I just got really diligent about making sure that even though I was exalted, I was continuing to do my my world quests to hit whatever the rep was. 3,000 is nothing to scoff at, especially when you're
it's
doing
not.
like the catch-up levels and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
And so I think that probably helped. I was very diligent about getting my rep up for the 2 new reps when I finally dove into Nazjatar and Mechagon.
That reminds me, I should probably go back to Mechagon.
I don't really remember doing anything, extraordinary. I wasn't doing island expeditions, which is another really good way to do it, but I haven't done really any of those since the beginning of the expansion. So, I mean, I think, one thing I did do is I basically, since I hit max level and all of that and my reps were all topped off, the only table missions I've been sending people on have been for Azerite.
Exactly.
It's
That's the big. I do that. Every day. It's like I've got 40,000 war resources, so all I can do is either use them on the mission table, or go over to the vendor and convert them to portable war resources, which I can send to my other character to use, but they're not running low on it. So yeah, I've been doing the same thing. I just do the whatever the emissary is, and then I'll go do. I did my bodyguard um, in Nazjatar, so I got all 3 bodyguards to level 30, so they're done. Um, and then whatever was going on in Mechagon, I did that daily. But yeah, it's I don't want to say it's been fun, but it's just been steady progress.
Yeah.
Which I think is the big thing that was lacking early, at least by the way they spaced it out. At least I had goals to hit. Like I want to hit 65 to unlock the minor power. I want to hit 67 for that extra 3% stamina. Now I just want to hit 70 to get it over with. So yeah.
Yeah, I can, totally relate to that, and I'm definitely not going in and figuring out which mission I should send my people on so that I can get the most bang for my buck. But this one definitely for 450.
Hey, I like that we've apparently given good enough advice where Ben's like, you know what? I need to take a moment and make sure I'm doing this.
Ted, I have 1,102 resources.
Yeah.
I need to work on that a little bit.
Yeah,
I
because
have 6,000 something on war resources. I don't
wow.
even know where they came from. I just
there's one mission every week that gives you well, like every time you do an emissary, you get I think 250 war resources from completing the 4 emissaries, and then
that's handy.
And then there's another one. Anytime you complete the 10,000 rep and get it to exalted again, I think you get 1,000 war resources for doing that. So I've just been, I've got them all staggered kind of out unintentionally. So like I'll hit one every 3 or 4 days. I'll just go through and hit exalted, get that, open it up, go to the next one. So
yeah, I need to get back into the habit of actually doing the emissaries every day. I was doing it for a while and then just kind of dropped off for a bit. And since I've been leveling my warrior a whole bunch, it just hasn't really come to mind. It's like, oh, I'm logging in, I'm actually progressing and working towards this leveling and stuff, which again, I'm having so much fun on that warrior. I mean, we'll see what happens at 116, but I think I say it every single time I talk about the warrior, but those animations are so freaking good.
They are.
I have to throw that out there again.
I think the big thing is just to not let any of your emissary quests lapse. Because that's where I've been. Because I have also struggled to get through it every single day. But what I have been able to do is within 3 days have some point where I clean up between all 3 or 2 of them.
That's a good way to do it.
So, I mean, the big thing is just don't let anything fall by the wayside and you'll be fine. Because I don't feel like I've been overly vigilant. I don't feel like I've gone crazy since I've kind of gotten back into the game. But I've somehow managed to get to a decent enough eye level. I've somehow managed to get my Heart of Azeroth to 64. Fair question how I did it. I don't know. There it is.
Well, just steady progress. You made progress. Yeah.
So yeah, it's been good. Although I will say I hadn't really paid attention to this whole like raid progression section that they have on the armory.
Right.
And that's gonna cause me anxiety because boy, are none of my bars filled out at all.
Yeah.
This is just a journey into pain right here.
Yeah, if you haven't looked at the redone armory, they did a really nice job on the stats and stuff that they're showing on there. But yeah.
Oh, I only did 3 bosses for LFR for Battle of Dazalor.
Huh. That's the thing, Ben. We didn't. And for anyone that doesn't know, we put Fert, like Ben said, we put Fert on hiatus. We killed Ashara twice, and
we figured like, that's good. I mean,
we've been raiding since
Emerald Knight, since Santoris. In the very oh no wait
no
Hellfire Citadel,
no Black Cataclysm,
High Mall,
yeah, Warlords, High Mall, and we never took a break. So we just said we're until 8.3 or 9.0. Now it looks like 8.3 will come out because they just data mine that version numbers up on the distribution network. So That'll be an interesting thing to find out if we even get a. I mean, are we going to get a raid in 8.3 or 8.3.5?
Who knows?
Regardless, we're
Maybe.
taking a break.
That's when we're going to the void.
Exactly. But yeah, it's been a nice break. I'll tell you that.
It's been half of a week since we took that break, and it's been nice so far.
Well, yeah, it's just like a weight's lifted off your shoulder, and you're just like,
Yeah, I mean, you and I don't have to, nicely yell at people. I really appreciate that. We don't have to wonder, is John actually going to come this week? Even though we know the answer is no every single time. Well, I mean, you haven't come for any of this expansion, have you?
He came for one when we did a retro night.
Yeah, I haven't rated any of the. Well, no, that's not true because I got normal progress here for this expansion. I have 3 of 8 normal on Old Deer.
Old Deer? Oh,
Yeah.
So I did that with you guys. Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that. We did Talic Mother and the Fetid Devourer. I remember
Yes.
that because wait, no, I think I'm mixing up. Yeah, I'm mixing up my fights. Never mind. Don't ignore what I was gonna
You're
say.
fine.
But I was there for it. I was there for those 3.
oh good.
Yeah, it's actually really funny to look down this list because I have basically my sum of raids is 3 of 8 normal for Old Deer total across all the difficulties. 3 of 9 LFR for Battle of Dazzalore. Then nothing in Crucible of Storms, nothing in Eternal Palace, and then it gets a little better in Legion. It's weird that I have every boss completed in normal in Legion, only 4 of 7 in LFR.
For Emerald Nightmare?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when we were actually you were actively raiding with us,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
we would practice some of the bosses in LFR. I'm the same exact thing, 4 of 7 and 7 of 7.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense then.
Yeah. I mean, the big reason I have 4 of 7 is because I was trying to get that the monk hidden appearance.
Right. Ben, I don't think as a raid team, we actually did LFR for Eternal Palace because we were progressing so well.
Yeah, exactly. We were doing such a good job with it.
And
I mean,
we took Ashara down like maybe a week, 2 weeks after the LFR wing came out. So there wasn't like I need to get in there and complete this so I can complete this achievement or whatever. No, it was nice. I'm hoping they keep that pace.
Yeah, I mean, the only real stopping points that we had for Eternal Palace were whatever the Whirlwind boss is,
The fourth
Radiance,
boss.
and then the second to last, and not exactly Ashara herself. We actually did pretty well against her.
No, we had Ashara down.
I mean, we were totally
was a
carried
cool.
on Ashara, but
No, it was
yeah.
a cool because of the 3 fear, haste, and normal. Yeah, that was a pain in the tuchus.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, Eternal Palace was a good raid. Like, John,
It
if
was.
you do get some time, I don't know how well LFR will be with that, but there's some interesting, fun fights and some cool story stuff in there.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
at some point, I'm just to deal with OCD, I'm going to go back and fill in some of these non-filled bars. I'm like looking at it and I'm like, it's kind of silly. Like, why I have LFR 13 of 14, 9 of 14 for normal, and 14 of 14 heroic for Siege of Orgrimmar. Like, I should go in and finish
Right.
normal, like it should get to where. And
we
also,
just-
how did I skip one boss in LFR? Like, that's some weird queuing for LFR right there.
You may have got one where it was like on wing 3, 4, 5 that it skipped 3 and you only got 4 and 5 done.
Yeah, because Black Fuse never fought on LFR apparently. So
What
This is weird. Siege of Orgrimmar, yeah. I mean, because remember, Siege of Orgrimmar was flex mode, normal,
Right.
and heroic. So
Yeah.
then they changed everything. So I think that's why our numbers are weird on that.
Yeah.
oh,
it
that's
is.
a good point. Because flex mode isn't reflected here.
No.
Because I mean, we beat it on normal, and then a couple weeks after that, then we beat it on flex, and then a couple weeks later, we turned into normal raiders at that point.
Yeah. Ben, my Eternal Palace LFR is 0 of 8. I think this is the first. God, this is the first raid tier we did where we didn't go into LFR.
Yeah, well, that and Crucible of Storms, but that's because it's like, okay,
No,
let's
I
just
have
do
2 of
this.
2 on. I have 2 of 2 on Crucible of Storms.
Yep, I've got 1 kill on the Restless Cabal and 1 kill on Unot, and we're like, done.
Hey, you guys, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think they put in a 8.3?
So I'm hoping, for Ben's sake, that they put in
Volpira?
Mechagon split into 2 wings, like they did with
Kara?
Karazhan. So they put a heroic version in, and they split it into 2 wings.
That'd be nice.
But John, were you asking specifically like raid, or were you actually
Yeah, I don't know. Just what
for
do you
content?
what do you guys hope? Like, and here's the thing. You know, we're close enough to BlizzCon now, where there's a chance that 8.3 stuff gets saved for BlizzCon.
Yep.
But do you think they do that? I guess I don't know. Now we're starting to get into BlizzCon predictions, but I'm sitting here and I'm like, well, we know 8.3 is coming.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what they talk about at BlizzCon?
Well, I mean, here's the tough thing. So they talk about 8.3 at BlizzCon, right? So this, oh yeah, 8.3, blah blah blah. And then do they do an expansion announcement? And then at that point, is everything from 8.3 just completely just trash?
Right.
Because we see the expansion on the horizon?
Yeah, I mean, that's unless 8.3 is what leads into the new expansion, and that's, you know, they're going to set it up as, here's this, you know, essentially 8.3 is the start of the new expansion or the pre-expansion stuff that's going to lead into where we're going, and they're just, you know, 9.0 is just going to be a picture of Orgrimmar burning, or, you know,
Oh, don't
instead of
do that,
Teldrassil.
because then they're gonna be like, it's gonna be a mystery on who's burning Orgrimmar or who started the
Exactly.
fire.
It was Sylvanas again, everybody.
No, I think that's my, yeah, I see what you're saying. They kind of put themselves in a, you know, do they get 8.3 out before BlizzCon as far as what's going into it, so they can focus on the expansion at BlizzCon? Do they do them both? Or the my worry is, if they don't do the expansion at BlizzCon, are we even getting it next year? Because they announce, typically if they announce it at BlizzCon, we'll see it in August, September
Or
time
like
frame,
November.
or October, November time frame. So, you know, do they save it and do a summer announcement for it? But then, good God, do we want to be an 8.3 from like January through, you know, November?
I mean,
Does that mean there's an 8.3.5? You see where they're kind of, yeah.
see, the hardest part is that they know what happens when there's an exceptionally long time between, you know, last patch and expansion. That didn't really happen with Legion. Yes, we had some extra time, but it wasn't like everybody's sitting there like, Legion has really taken its toll and we hate it and we don't want anything to do with it. And I mean, I remember like people actively playing that a ton before Battle for Azeroth came out. People were trying to do the Mage Tower. People were still going through and leveling alts, you know, getting their different stories. I mean, gosh, just on this show alone, I don't think that we really stopped playing Legion like seriously at all.
No, I think going between Legion and Battle for Azeroth was probably, in the history of WoW, with maybe the exception of going from Classic to Burning Crusade, it was the most I was playing WoW as the expansion was launching and had been playing, because usually there is that little uptick, like, you know, it's coming and you're like, I'm gonna play a little bit more, I'm gonna get in,
or I got to get all this stuff done because they gave me a date of when it's coming, and now I've got my to-do list all of a sudden is looming large.
I don't think I finished my to-do list because there was just like so much content throughout it.
And that's my concern is, as we just covered in, you know, leveling alts and other characters, there's not a lot of repeatable content, or I mean, there's a lot of repeatable content, but there's not a lot of, I want to level
repeatable content.
Yeah, or I want to, yeah. So I guess, John, my answer for 8.3 and are we going to get an expansion announcement is, it really depends on what is in 8.3. If there's, I don't want to say only a raid, But if there's only a raid and not even a new mega dungeon or a regular dungeon
or like a daily zone or something like that.
or yeah, but even a daily zone, Ben. I mean, Nazjatar and Mechagon, technically, if you've been doing them since they came out, you're pretty much done with the content in there after a month, maybe a month and a half, 2 months.
I'm looking at something along the lines of like Argus coming in for 8.3.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you think about it, if they give us something like that and then maybe just tease the expansion as opposed to going full on, hey, this is everything that's going to be in the expansion, then we might have a better shot at, you know, being able to hold on and hold over until that expansion comes out. I mean, we'll save it for the prediction show.
Yeah,
But it's one of those things where I can't see them giving us patch information at BlizzCon and an expansion and expecting one of those to really survive and people to care about.
okay, so here's part of why I think 8.3 is going to be short and they're going to do an expansion announcement. If you look at mechanically the necklace, right now you hit 70, you're done. They've converted the world quests to give you gold instead of attack power when you do those world quests, and anything else that would reward attack power, Azerite power converts to gold. To me, that says they're done. They're done with the necklace. They're not going to make us go 70 to 90 or 70 to 100 on the necklace. Please don't make us go to 100 on the necklace. You know,
Actually, it's going to be 120, so it can match our level.
no, please, God, no. Because I think that's part of it. Is I think while the essences have been interesting, at a high level, it does feel like a band-aid to a system that needed to be done and was done fairly well. But I don't think there's enough depth on the essences like there was on the appearances in the Mage Tower to hold us that long. I think 8.3 is going to be a transition period to get us into an expansion that they hopefully bring out in August or September.
So here's my hopes for 8.3. And I think so you've put a lot of like, here's the visual evidence that I have for why I think this, and mine's going to be a bit of a feeling. Like if you say, John, what do you want in 8.3? And I start answering the question, the thing I begin to realize when I talk about my wants for 8.3 is that the patch I'm describing sounds a lot like 9.0. Like
Right.
pre next expansion content, you know,
Yeah.
just before it comes out, because what I want is I want them to unlock all the allied races without rep requirements.
Yeah.
That alone right there is something that will make for people to be a little more compelled to get in if they haven't unlocked it, to maybe try some other things.
Do you still need to unlock? Oh, that's right, because technically Nightborn and everything are this expansion, not last expansion.
Right.
Correct.
I forgot about that.
So I think they should remove that. Let you get all the allied races. I'd like to see 2 additional allied races if possible, but you know that's me just being being hopeful. I think
Seth
that I think they need to do something that is an alternate form of leveling alts, leveling up alts, because that was something that was so huge going into Legion that got me so ready to go on all my characters.
Yep.
And
I played everything. I made a warlock specifically for it.
when I look at my
suck.
characters right now, I have one level 120. I have no real desire to get another character up to 120 because I don't care. I don't care about seeing that story again. I somewhat care about seeing it on the Alliance side, but I'm not a big enough Alliance fan to want to actually go through it. So, like, I just don't care. And the fact that I would be going through that exact same story and There's no class-based thing or anything. It's just like experience it again, and it's like, well, I didn't like it the first time. I'm not gonna like it the second time.
Yeah.
So,
John, that's honestly why I kept up with it on both sides as it moved forward, because I knew if we got to the end, that exact thing would happen. Like, nope, I'm not leveling it up.
yeah. So
like seeing both sides is nice for the expansion. It really is. And as you go through the 3 different zones, it's pretty cool. I will say that Storm's End really does take a while. And it's got some cool stuff in there. If they cut out like half of the unnecessary stuff, that zone would be rockin'.
So I would also, so yeah, I think it's important to give an alternate way to level up, because I want my other tunes to catch up, because I never know who I'm necessarily going to play. Like, yeah, I'm 98% sure it's going to be my rogue, but I'd like to have the option if something else compelling comes along, without having to go, yay, a new expansion's out. Let me play the last one.
Let me tell you about warriors, John.
Thanks. Yeah.
Do we get a new class, John?
I'm familiar with
Oh, wait,
them.
that's not the prediction show. Sorry, never mind.
I mean, I want one. I want them to put
Bard.
in the game.
Right?
Super bad. I wanted them to put Bard in the game before I realized I wanted them to put Bard in the game. Let's see. What else do I want? I think they have a healing Azeroth story they need to wrap up.
Yeah, there's still
they
a
need to pull
giant
that
sword in the planet.
I mean, I'm not discounting the fact that one day we get a cinematic where giant space gods are fighting and someone grabs that sword and uses it as a weapon.
Except Azeroth is still attached, so it's really a mace.
Yeah, they just smack them literally with Azeroth. You're like,
And that was the end of Stormwind.
and the person wielding it,
Sylvanas.
But I mean, at some point we got to depower the necklace, right? Just like we did with the weapons.
No,
at some
because
point?
nobody cares. Because they're
Well,
gonna
no,
be
but
like, they're gonna be like, here's a green necklace that's better than your stupid Azerite trash, and we'll
Well,
all be
the-
like, great, I don't care. They had to
entire
depower
point
the
is-
weapons because we wanted to keep them.
Okay,
Well, the
fair
entire
enough.
point, story-wise, of the necklace is that's how Azeroth is going to heal. We're apparently collecting all the out of Azeroth Azerite into the necklace just to shove it back in.
But we used it to free Nazoth, so yeah.
We all stick the Azerite back in, and then it
'Cause,
cuts. It
putting
cuts
your own blood
to.
back in yourself once
That's
you've
how
bled.
it. That's
totally
how it works. That's why I
Yeah.
gather it in a cup and pour it back on all my open wounds. It
go ahead.
cuts. It cuts from all of us going. We're channeling, and we got our stupid necklace out. We're the only ones doing it, but there's 80 of us there for some
Right.
reason.
And then Sylvanas burns down the heart chamber.
It pans down below the heart chamber, and it all leads to a funnel. And Sylvanas is just down there going, just drinking it all in, and we just powered up.
So she's
Sylvanas.
Eddie Brocking the Venom symbiote.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
So, speaking of cutscenes, you guys mentioned it, but Steve Denuser tweeted out, he's like, please, everyone put on your woolies and make sure you send Taryn Gregory snapshots of your character in the woolly in the cutscene so he can see how it looks.
Yeah, okay.
So, Ben, when you get your warrior to those cutscenes, they have to be wearing the
I really should. I
and
should.
just take screenshots.
Or the horse's ass. Either or.
Either or, yeah.
Well, Ted, thank you very much for joining us this week on Azeroth Roundtable. It has been an absolute pleasure. And thanks for kind of skirting around the BlizzCon prediction show.
It's tried, sorry.
That's okay. We appreciate it.
I appreciate. Can I do one quick shout out?
Oh, of course.
I want to give a huge shout out to Nevermore because she has been the best tank partner, puts up with my crappy tanking and gets us through some of this stuff where I repeatedly die and she doesn't. So I just want to thank for Fert, since we're on hiatus. She's been an awesome tank partner and I want her to know. So
Well, she doesn't listen to the show, so...
well, then you tell her.
Yeah.
Also, she doesn't die because we care about her more, so we heal her more than you.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
I know this.
Just kidding. And you know that. But until next time we have you on, where can people find you, Ted?
The best place to find me is either on Twitter at Ivory Tiger, or come listen to us on Sunday at 5 Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, every other Sunday, including this Sunday. We're going to be talking about AIE this week in Final Fantasy 14 and talk about
Mm.
the new expansion and what's going on there. And in 2 weeks, since I know you both like Star Wars, we're going to be
What?
talking to Max and Seema about the new Star Wars expansion.
Very
6.0.
cool.
Yep.
Very, very cool. Make sure to stick around, everybody, for the next few minutes because we have a special contest coming. But before we get to that, John, if people
Hello.
are looking for you, where can they find you?
If you want to hear more from me, you can follow me on Twitter. Follow me at John_Jagger. That's where I tweet from. If you want to catch me on other shows, I would recommend you do so on Core.
Core!
That's the, I almost said Heroes of the Storm show I do. We talk about it
Oh,
sometimes.
wow.
Man, really defaulting back to
Ooh.
old answers. But hey, we talk about heroes from time to time. It comes up. But we also talk about all video games, as it turns out. New ones, old ones, some as big as your head. We just talk about them. Video games, we love them. And
Have you talked about Goose Game yet? Oh, sorry, Untitled Goose Game?
No, none of us. Scott's probably the most likely to end up playing that game first.
Yeah.
So, what is it on?
Steam?
Is it a Steam game?
Switch as well, I think.
Yeah.
All I've heard people talk about it on his Switch, so I just wrote it off. But if it's on Steam, I might check it out.
I want to say it's on Steam. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm
Sure.
kind of sure. And I think Tet's looking right now, so.
I am.
All right. Well,
PC and Mac or Nintendo Switch.
sweet. Except now we live in the world where we need to just watch with the stores because is it on Steam? Is it on Epic? Is it on Xbox? Is it going to be on the PlayStation Now?
question
PC
for you,
available
John.
content?
Would that be some sort of discussion that might be on a show called Core?
It might literally be on this last week's episode of Core that Bo and I did. Scott was not available that particular day, so we held down the fort. But check it out. You can find that at frogpants.com/core.
Core again.
That's the one. And also, I play Dungeons and Dragons, and we record
What?
it and we put it on the internet, as is known to happen amongst friends and people. And we do a show called There Will Be Dungeons, which is a D&D live play podcast. I think that's the buzzwords they use for this sort of thing. Anyway, we've been down Kyle and Kristen because they just had a baby. But they are going to be back this week, this Sunday. They're back, so we're getting back to the regular campaign after a brief 2-episode one-shot where I was DMing that particular game, and that was a lot of fun. So check it out. It's a really fun show with a good crew of people. You can find out more about that at therewillbedungeons.com.
Very cool. Thank you very much, John. If you're looking for me, you can
Ben.
find me on Twitter. Yes. Yes,
Where are you, Ben? I'm looking for you, and I don't know where to find you.
Well, the first place you should always check is on Twitter. I am at Ben Bumhofer. If you want to hear another, if you really enjoy There Will Be Dungeons and you're like, gosh, this Dungeons and Dragons thing, I could use another game to listen to. I really recommend you check out +5 to Hit. That is the game that I am a part of, and I have a lot of fun with that. I definitely recommend that. It comes out every other week. If you just want to hear discussion about Dungeons and Dragons, hey, guess what? I do a show for that too called DN Discussions. Ryan Reeder and I talk about it, and we have a lot of fun. And I keep realizing he is way better at this game than I am. So
I don't think it's a contest, Ben.
Oh, it's not. But he comes up with some really good stuff. That's all I'm saying.
I think you both do. I listen to the show, and I have heard both of you say some things that have made me go, good God, I'm bad at this. Like I get the feeling, like I know where the feeling's coming from, but I think the thing you gotta remember is You are doing a thing to tell a story and have your friends have a good time, and as long as you're achieving that, you are doing a fine job. And I think you have succeeded at that. It sounds like he has succeeded at that, and I have been told that I have succeeded at that, which means we are all quite good at what we do.
Well, let me just put it this way. In the next episode that's coming out, he just spontaneously asked me a question about dealing, like, what's the biggest curveball that was thrown at me. I couldn't come up with something really quick off the top of my head, so I had to talk about the warlock in my party and some of his antics.
Uh-oh, that means I'm getting talked about.
Oh, really? So check out Date Discussions if you want to know what I'm talking about.
When he talks about the warlock, that's me. You'll find out that it's not just co-hosting this show where I cause Ben random bits of chaos.
Yeah. But see, the thing is, I had, like, there's so many better stories than I could have told, but I was on the spot. I'm like, wait, what? So, yeah. Anyways. Other than those, though, I do a show with Elutra called Box Fort, where we geek out about just random stuff, whether it's movies, comic books, video games. It's basically the, hey, what's going on in my life that I like right now? It's a fun show. It's really random, too. But check it out. This show, though, boy howdy, do we have something cool going on this week. That is right. We have three... No, not that way. I can't do three very easily with my hands broken weird. We have 3 virtual tickets to give away. No, we can't do that anymore. We have 3 virtual tickets to give away. John, you got to stop doing that, John.
What?
Stop.
What does it mean?
We'll talk about it later, okay?
It's an
I'm
easy
very
way to
serious.
put up 3.
It is an easy way to put up 3, but it's also being taken as something else these days. So we'll talk about that
What?
later. Anyways, yeah, again.
Is
off
it the
air.
thing where you put it on your pants?
No, John, stop.
Okay.
Thank you. So, we have 3 virtual tickets to give away. And the best way to possibly do that is by kind of participating in our BlizzCon prediction episode. So what we need from you is to send us a prediction about BlizzCon. That's right. So we need you to email us. Send those to AzerothRoundtable@gmail.com. You can tweet at us at AzerothRT. Or drop in our Discord. We have a whole Discord that's linked on AzerothRoundtable.com. Send us a prediction about BlizzCon, and you'll be randomly put in to potentially win a virtual ticket. Now, you might be wondering, gosh, I really need to think about this. I have no idea what my prediction is going to be. Well, there is a time limit. That's right. We'll be taking predictions up until midnight Pacific time on October 10th.
Ooh,
So get
that's
those
a
in.
short time.
Next episode, we are going to be handing out those virtual tickets. We want to make sure that people have them so that they can watch BlizzCon and see if their prediction came true. So check it out. And if you missed it, go to AzerothRoundtable.com. Also, email us, AzerothRoundtable@gmail.com, and tweet us, AzerothRT. And of course, you can catch the show live every Friday on twitch.tv/AzerothRT. I kind of slurred that little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, AzerothRT. There we go.
All right. Well, hey, everybody. That puts us at the end of the show. It's the part of the show where we thank anybody who has gone to patreon.com/AzerothRT to help us out and help support the show. We want to send a big thank you to everybody who does that. We also want to say, hey, you know, life can be hard. And sometimes life throws curveballs at you. And sometimes things happen. And sometimes those things that happen is somebody forgets to put all the shows up for the entire month of September and nobody gets charged. So, hey.
Free month, everybody!
We did a free month of shows. So, I just want to say there is a post up on patreon.com if you are a current patron and you're wondering, hey, why didn't I get charged? And are then going to be either concerned that you might get double charged or curious why you didn't get double charged. The thing is, we're just going to write the whole month off because we don't feel it's right to charge you twice in one month. So We're just writing September off. It didn't happen. We're going to pretend September didn't happen, and we're all going to be better off for it, I think, in general.
And those who were actually reaching out and worried that something was wrong with the show, like we were shutting down or anything, don't worry about that. That is definitely not happening.
Right. And you're good people, for everybody who reached out. And I've had a couple people say, hey, you know, I don't mind. I budget for it. It's fine. I get that, but we don't want to blanket everybody under that, and to me it's just a little bit more respectful to not do that. So anyway, point is, patreon.com is where you can go to support our madness, and we always want to give a shout out to the Murloc Club. That is Aaron, Brandon O, Haster, Jesse O, Caleb M, Kilroy Tastic, and Taryn. Thank you so much for your support.
That's right. Thank you, patrons. Thank you, chat room. And thank you, everybody who's going to be entering for a virtual ticket. We want to hear your predictions. Tetsemi, thank you very much for joining us. Again, as always, it is always a blast.
It was
John,
fun. Thank you.
You're pretty cool. And thanks for joining me, too.
Thanks. I want to know who the hell's responsible for ruining the easy way to do the number 3. Now we all have to do it a stupid hard way? That doesn't make any sense. Why do we ruin things that are better?
We're going to talk about it off air. Until next time, everybody, and I truly, really mean it this week, be good to each other.